Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Well, hello and welcome to the show. This is Mike Saunders with Marketing Huddle, and today we have with us Heather Wilson, who is co-founder of the Christian crowdfunding site GiveSendGo.com. Welcome to the show, Heather.
Thank you, Mike. I'm so happy to be here talking with you today.
Hey, cool. Well, it's really neat to see unique ideas, and I teach for 3 different universities in marketing strategy, and right now I'm teaching a class on entrepreneurship and financing, and one of the main topics that runs through the discussion in the class is crowdfunding, because so many times people need funds, but they're in between that crossroads of I can't get a bank loan and I don't know what to do. So I think this is so relevant. So before we get into what you do and how you do it, share with us a little bit about your background and what inspired you to become an entrepreneur.
All right. Well, I live in Maryland. I'm married. I have a few kids. I am one of 12 siblings. So I have a lot of brothers and sisters. And a couple years ago, we were sitting down with me and some siblings and discussing some ideas, thinking, if we could do something, what would we want to do? And crowdfunding, like you said, has become a hot topic. It's arrived on the scene. Everybody's kind of wondering about it. People seeing these campaigns raising tons of money and all this, excitement around crowdfunding. And so we started looking into it and going, okay, is there a need for crowdfunding, a Christian crowdfunding site? And so I have a marketing background. My brother, who's my partner, Jacob, he has more the business background, and my sister Emily, she is more the human resource. So we all definitely complement each other in what we bring to the table.
So what, if you were to say one thing or 2 things that motivates you to help others, because you chose this platform to help others, what would you say is like your motivating factor and driving force?
Well, I think as we were even discussing the idea, because there are a bunch of crowdfunding sites out there, as we were talking, people need money to do good things in the world. It's always inspiring. Now with social media, you can see these great videos and things that people put out there where someone's helping somebody, and they're always so feel good, and it inspires you to want to do something for somebody else. And we realized that money can be the vehicle that helps you to help somebody. But as a Christian, we realize that money doesn't solve the issue, which is that people need the hope that God can bring. And so that's why we kind of went to Christian crowdfunding saying, listen, let's provide a place where people can raise money for all the things that they might want to do good in this world, with the background of let's be the body of Christ working together to provide hope to the world.
Yeah, I think that is. I just love the concept, and bringing those 2 things together. And it seems like so many times people, individually or businesses, miss out and lose the focus of what is the purpose of the business or your life for that matter. What's the blueprint and what's my mission and vision? And when you can have a business that has more than just, we exist to make a profit and we need to have a good bottom line. You as a company or these ventures that are coming to you for some funding, I think that whole thread needs to be really, really expanded on, because it kind of helps you make it through those tougher times when you have that why and that vision and that purpose. So I love that vision. For people that don't know what crowdfunding is, what is it in layman's terms? You think about funding and you think, well, I go to the bank and I get turned down. So what is crowdfunding?
Well, crowdfunding arrived on the scenes pretty much hand in hand with this whole social media networks that we're seeing, Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and all these places that connect us socially. The idea came out that, hey, if a whole bunch of people gave a little, it could do a lot. Yeah. And so crowdfunding pretty much takes that crowd of people. I have thousands of people on my Facebook page. Do I know them all personally? No. you know, I know of them. We might have mutual friends. We've connected in some way. But I have this whole crowd of people that if I'm going to be doing something and I think it's something worth investing in, I can reach out to that crowd and invite them to be a part of it with me. And that's pretty much what crowdfunding is inviting the crowd of people that you know to join in on something that you, we call it your mission, what you feel you are called to do.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever done any reading by the author Seth Godin?
I actually have not.
Well, here's a writer downer for you, and if you want to pick up some books over the next few months, any book that he's written is amazing. He's a marketing thought leader and guru, but he wrote a book called Tribes, Tribes, and it really is an excellent read. And the whole point of it is when a business can create a tribe of followers, like rabid fans and raving fans, and not just happy customers. When you can cultivate that tribe, you don't have to build a widget to sell to the tribe. You have to listen to the tribe to see what they want and need, and then go solve that with them. Well, from my perspective, crowdfunding becomes, building tribes of these small pockets and niches and demographics around what, you could probably list off 2 or 3 crowdfunding campaigns that are like wacky and strange, but yet in its own way is really fun and awesome. So I think that it really is fun to help facilitate these entrepreneurs collaborate with their tribes.
Yeah, it is. It's very exciting to see, and just the plethora of different campaigns that, like you said, that we see on here. They're not all for the same thing because everybody has a different heart for something. And so whether they are starting a business or whether they're going on a mission trip or whether they're helping somebody in need or whether they're buying something for somebody who needs it, a bus for school, or, there are just so many different things that people, like you said, can use their tribe for, that will attract different people that I might not attract. So it is it's very interesting.
So let's say that a crowdfunding campaign starts and money comes in from the crowd. So there's the funding from the crowd. What can it be used for? Is it a loan? Is it a grant? Is that entrepreneur that runs a successful crowdfunding campaign, are they just going, here's what I need, give me some money? Or kind of when the dust settles, is it a loan from a bank kind of a thing, or is it money that you go, thank you, and you never hear from them again? And I know neither one of those are the options, but can you kind of speak to what the funds can be used for from a successful campaign?
Well, when somebody starts a campaign, they're going to spread it and share it as many ways. We give lists of ways that they can share their campaign. When they inspire people to give to them, that's exactly what they're inspiring people to do, to donate. So it's just like donating to your local Red Cross or anything like that. You're donating, you're giving money to a cause. You might not know exactly how the Red Cross used that exact dollars that you gave them, but you were inspired by what they were doing. And so when someone starts a campaign and they say, this is what I am going to be doing, they're inspiring people. And because it's mostly, and we always say that there's not just this magic crowd out there waiting to give you money. That's like a myth about crowdfunding, that there's just this magic crowd. Yep. There's not a magic crowd. It's not as easy. Crowdfunding is not just this easy, great thing. You put something out there and everybody's going to flock to you to give you money. That's not what happens. It's your crowd. It's your people. It's your tribe. It's the people that you are connected to. And so when you're asking people to join in with you on whatever you're trying to raise money for, and someone donates, most likely it's somebody you know or is connected to you in some way, and you get, with Give, Send, Go, the money goes directly to your bank account. When you sign up and start a campaign, you put your bank account information in, the money goes right from our payment processor right into your bank account. So we are not holding your money. The money goes directly to you, and that's how it works. So there's no loan. Money's not being held unless you make your whole campaign. There are crowdfunding sites that are out there that you have to raise your goal in order to get all the money, and that's not the case with Give, Send, Go. It's pretty much as people give, the money is given to you, and you can use it for what you say your campaign is for.
And so the money, we're talking about the money coming in when the campaign is over, whatever money has come in is the entrepreneurs that set up the campaign, and it's not a loan where they then have these little payment obligations to all these donors. And so in other words, it is in essence a grant. It's people that buy into your vision and say, we support it, here is X number of dollars. And then of course the ethical and good thing to do would be to send thank yous and to give them updates and all things like that. But I just wanted to clarify that crowdfunding is money that comes in because people bought into your vision and the money is yours, and it's not like, oh, I'll have to pay these people back.
Exactly. It is coming into you for you to use for your mission. And our site is set up so that there are easy ways people can follow your campaign, and then every time you put an update, they get an automatic email that you've updated or added pictures to your site. So you can use it for a newsletter if you want to be updating your followers on what's going on. People can also sign up. We have, if you choose a long-term campaign, is what we call it, a campaign that's going to go on for more than, okay, I need to raise money by the end of the month. If you're doing a long-term campaign, people can actually donate recurring donations. So they can say, I want to give $100 a month for the next 6 months, and they can, when the donor goes to give. So people can really invest in what you're doing.
So what you've said, two things that have stuck out to me that may make Give, Send, Go different than the others out there. Number one, the Christian platform, and that's a given. But number two, money going directly to your bank account. And then secondly, the recurring payments. Are those two things very different than competitor crowdfunding sites out there? Because from what I've seen and heard, you might have to wait for your money until after the campaign, and then there's a lot of extra red tape and fees, and then I've never heard that you can sign up to give X number of dollars per month or whatever. So are those two things pretty unique?
They are unique, and they were definitely when we were, before we started, we talked to a lot of people who we would think would use crowdfunding and people that wouldn't use crowdfunding, and we asked them, what would you want in a crowdfunding campaign? We asked people who were missionaries that went on the field for years at a time, and we asked the local people who just did things in their community, and we said, what would make a crowdfunding site stand out to you? And those were some of the things that we heard. And so we said, you know what, we are going to do that. We also added a pray button. And so when you go to a campaign, because we understand that not everybody is in a financial place to give all the time, but you can go and view somebody's campaign and you can pray for them and click the Pray Now button and let them know that you're supporting them with prayer, which is totally different than any other site as well. But we feel as important, if not more important, that people are lifting up these campaigns in prayer.
Yeah, you hear when missionaries come through your church and they say, hey, take our prayer card in the back, and we need your money, but we need most of all your prayer. And it sounds cliche to say that, but that really is the case. And to have that as a option for a crowdfunding option, I think is a neat touch, because as people get, the responses coming in and go, hey, dollar supporter, and then a prayer supporter, I would think that would be really encouraging to the people running campaigns.
Exactly. To hop onto your campaign to see what's going on and see that you've had 53 people pray for your campaign. It really is, it's inspiring. It gives you the energy to keep going. Hello?
Hey, you're breaking up, so if you could just stay, we're just kind of breaking up there. So the next question that I've got would be tips for a successful campaign. So if you were to have someone come to you and say, I've got a great idea, I want to set up a campaign, what are some things that they should keep in mind?
Well, we actually decided that we would come up with a easy way to remember. So we decided we would come up with our P's, the letter P, and come up with some tips using the letter P. So first off, we said pray. Decide before you even decide to start a campaign, be praying, asking God what he wants you to be doing. And he's going to be the best partner that you could have, your best campaign supporter. So be lifting up your campaign and be asking others to pray for you as well. And then we have plan is our second P. And we say, a successful campaign takes planning. Just hopping on the computer, writing a quick story and uploading whatever picture you can find first is probably not going to get you the results you hope for. You need to be asking yourself, what am I inviting people to invest in? Why would they want to invest in this? What do I want to see happen when I raise this money? And I always say, ask yourself, if the media was going to write a story on you, what headline would you use to capture people's attention? Because you really want to draw people into your story and not just tell the basic who, what, whens, and where. Do the why. Like, why do you want people? What is so important about what you're doing that people will want to invest in you? So make sure your story is good. Plan it out. Plan what your image or video. You can upload a video for your header so people can watch your video, which is very compelling, or you can put an image. And we always say use a good image, something that, again, is going to draw people in. And then we say also pick a reasonable amount of funds. We see people come on and say, oh, I want to raise $2.5 million.
Yep.
And you know what? That's great. And maybe you do need that amount of money for whatever mission, whatever you're going to be doing. But if I want to donate to you and I'm going to give you $50, I might not donate to you because $50 doesn't seem like it's going to do anything. Yeah. So keep your campaign reasonable. And for your crowd, think of your crowd. What do you think is reasonable for them to help you raise? Because you can always adjust the amount later, too. If you get close to your goal and you think you need more, you can adjust your goal. So we always say, when you're planning, keep it reasonable. And then we say partner, and this is an important one. Crowdfunding will not work without your partners. You need to have friends, family, partnering with you. Use email, Twitter, phone numbers, talk to people. Posting once a day or once a week on Facebook is not going to get you these results. You need to be constantly telling people about your vision, about what you're going to be doing, what you're raising money for. And then we say line up like 10, before you start your campaign, line up like 10 to 20 first day givers, because immediately when people start giving to a campaign, crowds are more likely to follow what they see other people doing. So they see all these people giving, and all of a sudden they're going to want to give too and be a part of this excitement that's happening. And we say the internet's there. Use the internet to reach out. Find groups, find blogs about what you're doing, and invite them to be a partner as well. With the internet, it's unlimited. You can find unlimited partners, find news sources, press releases, blogs, things like that. And then our last P is persist. And, crowdfunding, we say, is not for the weak of heart. It's work. You hear of the successful campaigns that are raising, thousands and thousands of dollars in a week. That's not typical. You go scroll through some crowdfunding sites, and there's a lot of campaigns that thought they were going to just magically raise all this money, and they didn't. It takes persistence. It takes asking people. We live in a day and age where people procrastinate. And I see campaigns, and I might want to give to something, but I procrastinate because I'm doing something else on the computer right now, and I was going to do it, and then I forget until I might see it 4 or 5 times and then go, oh, yeah, I wanted to do that. Yep. So we say, but post often. It's an average of 8 times for people to see your campaign before they decide to give. And if they see other people giving, that makes it more compelling. So we always
that's
say,
called
you need to persist.
Social proof. When someone sees someone else do something, they go, oh, okay. And it might capture their attention. And I've heard stats like the 8 times or 10 times before someone actually gets it. And I've said this for years, that I think that statistic is outdated because of all the things today that capture our attention to distract us, that the 8 times that it used to take in theory, really it takes 10 to 12 to 14 or more times, because you're so distracted and someone's on instant message and Twitter and a text message and a this and a that now it might take 2 or 3 times to count as that one time because people are so busy. So that gets back to that persistent aspect. The question that I've got on the partner, I'm sure you tell people this, but with respect to tribes and partner and find places and groups online, I would say that if you could find influencers online that influence a certain tribe of people that would be interested in your campaign. So maybe, whoever, and I can't even think of an example, but if you know that you need people that look like this, this demographic for your campaign to support you, and you found that they all follow this person on Twitter, or they're in this group on LinkedIn, or they, like these kind of things on their Facebook tweet and Facebook feed, and you see, what? Boy, this influencer's name has come up quite a bit. Well, I'm going to start to connect with that person, and maybe you can get an audience with them online or on social media and pitch them on your cause, and maybe they get a little bit of, give you a little bit of juice to get to their followers, and that could help stimulate that campaign.
That is a very good point, because that is exactly what we want people to do, is to find the influencers, find the people that can help them get the word out. Yeah, definitely the partner. And then we also see, and I saw this personally, is that I had a friend who had a sick daughter, and she was raising money for care for her daughter. And every time somebody gave to her, she did a personal thank you on her Facebook, like a shout out to them, and tag them if she could tag them. But she always, like every single donation, thank you so, and it was heartfelt. And it made you want to give, because you knew, and not just so that she would write your name on her Facebook wall, but you knew she was so grateful.
Because it made an impact.
You made an impact. And so I always say, make personal thank yous. Automatic thank you and receipt goes out to the person, and you can customize that from our site. So we have a thank you note that goes out when someone gives, and it says, thank you for your generous donation. Here's the Bible verse. But you can go in and customize that for each campaign you have, so that someone gets a custom email from you every time they give. But we say make it social as well. Like, let people know how much their donation means to you.
Yeah, I think that I think it was Maya Angelou that said people will forget what you say about them or what happens, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so maybe that donation is like, okay, yeah, I gave X number of dollars, but when you got that tweet or that Facebook message or a personalized email, and with technology these days, there's these little shout out apps or features on social media that it would take you literally 10 seconds to push a button, do a quick, hey, Tom, thank you so much for your contribution that just came through. Just wanted to say thanks. Hope to see you around, and I'll keep you posted. Boom. And send that to them either by email or social media. To me, that really amplifies, and it would make that, and maybe even that person might go, doggone, I'm gonna donate again when I,
for next paycheck. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is. It's so true. It really makes you feel like you've made a difference. And that's what people don't want to just throw their money. There's plenty of places we could be giving our money. People want to give their money to somewhere that they're making an impact. And so the more you allow them to see the impact you're making, and so definitely making updates on your campaign, letting people know what you're doing with the money, definitely those are all things that draw people in and go, wow, I want to be a part of that.
So what's and we could obviously talk for a long time here and come up with more ideas, but let's kind of land the plane with this last question, and then we'll point people to your website again. What's one of the craziest, interesting campaigns that you've seen come on your site?
Craziest, interesting. We had a great campaign about a couple that live in Nepal. They're missionaries in Nepal, and she was like 9 months pregnant when the earthquake hit. And so, and she had 3 other little kids, and so they were raising money to build another house because they were living out in a tent right after she had this baby, and she was incredible to me. Yeah, because I've had babies. I know that, but I can't imagine during
a tent.
Exactly, living in a tent in the middle of this disaster.
Yeah.
And that they were living outside because their house was so full of cracks that it was unsafe for them. And not only were they raising money to help build themselves a house, but they were raising money to build houses all around. Like, they still were being so missional minded to say, listen, like, it's not just us. People are devastated here. And so that was a really interesting campaign. We have a great group called the Carrier Connection, and they raise money numerous times a month for like carriers for handicapped children, that for moms to be able to carry them, like they're like a wrap or something that they carry the baby with, and they raise these carriers for these kids, and it's amazing to see the support that they get. We have some people making movies, Christian movies. We see people starting businesses or writing books. You know, there's just so many different things. We've seen some tragedies happen where the family gathers around and says, we're going to raise money to help this this family that went through this tragedy. And so this is just such a huge plethora of campaigns that we see come on. But the cool thing is, and I'm going to throw this little plug in there, is that we are free. And I know we probably mentioned it at one point, but when we first started, we were going to just be a little bit percentage lower. Most crowdfunding sites take 5 to 10% out of every donation. They say they're free because you can set up a campaign and you're not paying any money, but any donation that comes in, they get 5, 10% of. We started that way. When we first started, we were going to just come in a little bit lower so we could say over lower than the average, average site. But as we were stepping out and asking people to trust God with their campaigns, that he was going to provide for them, we felt the same thing for us, like that God was saying to me. And so what we did is we removed the fee that we would take out of every donation. So we don't take a mandatory fee, and we rely on donations only. And when someone gives to a campaign, they have the option to give to us, or they have the option not to give to us. And it's exciting to see that God provides for us, just like he's providing for our campaign owners. And it's exciting to be able to be free, because people need, when they're raising money, they need the money. Yeah. They need the money, And so I just wanted to, again, point that out, that we are different than, some of the major sites out there, because we do not take that percentage. So that alone, come to Give, Send, Go. Save yourself money.
That's a huge distinguishing feature, competitive advantage, selling point. So not only is it the mission and the vision behind each one of these campaigns and stories, the only free Christian crowdfunding site. So you can learn more at givesendgo.com. And is there any final thoughts you'd like to leave, and then we'll wrap up?
I think we're good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's been really great learning about your platform. Thank you for doing this.
Well, I look forward to talking to you again sometime, and definitely check us out. Let me know if you have any questions.
Awesome. You have a great day.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.